Yo guys, welcome back. Before we actually get into the video, please be aware, this is not the content I want to be making for swords, but this is what the game is forcing me to do. I farmed for the swords as fast as possible, hoping to show you how cool they can be and how many builds we can make, and that is not the case. This will probably be the one and only sword video until they can improve them, and well, that sucks because my job is content, and same for the other content creators, and when you release something that's so half-assed, there's really not much I can do about it. It is disappointing to us, and it should also be disappointing to all of you. So today we're going to discuss swords. Unfortunately, this is a discussion and not a build guide because swords flat out suck. They were implemented into the game in such a lazy manner that they stand no chance to be good, and that is what we're going to talk about. There is no showcase because the coolest kill I can do is Molten Fortress or some elite at the end of a 400% dungeon. I will explain quickly how swords work, but that won't take long at all. I will show a build, but there is no build diversity because of the limitation of mods and multiple other factors that we will discuss. I'm trying not to be too negative, but swords are bad because of lack of knowledge and effort by the developers, which is sad to see when they came with a 1,000 caliber battle pass with FOMO because it expires in 30 days and a grind to get them that will make you want to quit the game. So that really covers the intro. Let's get into the swords and how they work. So we have two swords here. One is going to be the Manus sword, which is basically a great sword. This is going to be inherent chill attack. Then we have Shadow, which is more like a katana style sword. This is going to have inherent toxic attack. Basically, the way these two swords work is the great sword, the Manus, is set up to be a crit sword, and then the other sword, Shadow, is set up to be your consecutive attack sword. So that is pretty much how you're going to build them. You really don't have any option to that because of the lack of Descendant buffs when it comes to bolt swords. And as far as building them, it's very, very simple because the options with mods are so limited. You have your 2 attack mods. Then for your Manus, you have your 4 crit mods, which is going to be better insight, better concentration, lethal swing, and then sword dance. So you get in your crit hit, your crit damage, you do your 2 element mods, your attack speed mod, and our 1 ultimate mod. I repeat, we have 1 ultimate mod, and it is Veil Analyzer. On successful attack, all attribute attack plus 4.7% for 5 seconds. Well, 19% at max level. And that's really your options. There's no diversity here, and I could show you why. Like I said, we have our 1 ultimate mod. That is it. So no diversity there. Ultimate mods really kind of define a weapon in ways, but other than that, as you can see, it's really easy when you look through these. Okay, we have consecutive attack chance, consecutive attack chance, consecutive attack damage. That is your 3 options. So if you're building a consecutive attack sword, well, you only have 1 damage mod here, and then you have 2 chance. You have 1 that's going to give you attack speed, and then you have 1 that's going to give you the range modifier. We're going to want the attack speed. We're trying to hit as many times as possible. Same thing as fire rate with a weapon. And then when you get into the crit, critical hit rate, critical hit rate, critical hit damage. Very simple. You have your attack mods. 2 of these attack mods are only viable. 1 is going to be the blue mod, which is hardened reinforcement, which luckily does not give a negative. The other one is going to be 1 point breakthrough, which is going to lower your weapon attack range, but this is going to give you the most melee attack. So the Shadow Sword is going to be our consecutive attack sword. As you can see, the critical hit rate is 5%. We cannot build into that due to the fact that no Descendant can buff it, and that includes Haley, because it only adds up to the firearm, not the melee stat. And it's very simple here. We're going to be doing the same thing. 2 attack mods, our 2 element mods, faster attack speed. We have to go with Veil Analyzer because it's our only option. And then we have consecutive attack chance, consecutive attack damage. Then I went with Sword Dance for the speed modifier. The crit chance doesn't matter. And then we're doing sweep for the piercing rate. Also, mod you really don't have to have in. To me, overall, piercing rate doesn't make any sense. I don't know why you're handicapping this weapon when we have so many strong things in the game. Basically, piercing rate is when you hit multiple enemies with the same swing, you lose damage per enemy that you hit, and this helps to negate that. Why is that a thing? I have no clue. Okay, so let's look at the one thing that does work, and that's going to be Enzo and Glay, and that's going to be them giving themselves ammo to the swords. As we can see, that does work with Enzo. He is granting himself heavy ammo. Now we have Glay here, and we'll use her increased sensory, and we'll see that she just does not use the ammo, correct? So those are two Descendant buffs that actually work. So let's take a look at Haley, a Descendant that I was hoping would be viable for some sword builds, being that she can give herself the critical hit chance when using her second ability. And as we see here, our melee critical hit rate is going to be 6.2%, and then we will activate her Cold Fury. And as you can see, melee critical hit rate does not go up, but firearm critical hit rate magically appears in the stats. Make it make sense. So let's take a look at Serena. I believe everybody's favorite Descendant, definitely mine. So I want to use Serena with a sword. Serena flies in the air. Let me use my sword. Oh, you can't do the combo with the sword in the air. Why? Because the swords have no mid-air combos. They also have no mid-air to ground attacks as well. So something that you might have been thinking about was, oh, I'd like to use Serena with a sword in the air. Well, that's going to be a no-go. So unfortunately, let's keep talking about what doesn't buff swords. Unfortunately, that is the problem. There's nothing to synergize with the swords. So now we have something like Walk a Tightrope, which clearly does not state sword in it. I understand that, but why? So let's see what happens here. We're going to swing. I'm hitting for 375k. I'm going to drain my health below half. Give me a minute. Okay. And we're still hitting for 375k. Another thing that I think is a huge oversight is the fact that they did not add swords to focus rounds. This is one of the best buffs / debuffs in the game, and completely does absolutely nothing for swords. As far as builds for both, I will put both of those on the screen now. I know some are still eager to go farm the swords and build them, and I would suggest possibly doing it. I do also want to tell you to be aware is that they're probably going to make the farm easier in the future. There'll probably be boxes with the sword in it, because it is just their MO to continue to make the game easier for new players and not really reward their hardened fan base. So let's throw together a little checklist here, and this is from me and also I would say my Twitch chat, taking their suggestions throughout the last few days as we've been messing with swords. Poise. When you're holding a sword, you have 0 poise. Doesn't matter what it is. As long as the enemy hits you with some type of knockback, you are getting knocked back. That just doesn't work. Makes for bad gameplay. There's a ton of knockbacks in this game. So to me, just no poise system doesn't make any sense for the Descendant holding the sword. Movement speed. There's no movement speed cores on these. When you do not have movement speed cores in this game, you move as slow as you would when you started the game, which is atrocious. You are now holding a melee weapon, moving extremely slow, playing with somebody like Serena or Bunny or Inez holding a secret garden, and they are moving at the speed of light. So you are not only handicapping yourself by holding a melee weapon and using a melee weapon, now you are unable to move at the speed the other Descendants can. The swords need to have some kind of base movement speed on them that doesn't involve cores. Mid-air combos. Why can't you do any mid-air combo? Whether it's the same combo you can do on the ground or a secondary combo that is exclusive to mid-air. A mid-air to ground attack. In a game where you can jump so high, fly in the air, power fantasy, I'm not sure how there is no mid-air to ground attack. There's no Descendant synergies. Now, I understand that maybe somebody like Captain Harris or Daya in the future will have those Descendant synergies, but without synergies in this game, the game is nothing. This is a game based on synergy, lack of Descendant mods. Not sure why the Descendant mods for firearms weren't updated to include swords. I don't see anything that would make that break anything in the game. It would make the swords better, more enjoyable. Lack of mods for the swords. Now, I understand these will probably be coming, but we already get drip fed as it is. So now we're getting drip fed content, and in drip fed content, we will now get drip fed swords. No inversion reinforcements work. To me, the biggest one is going to be the focus rounds. Why? Focus rounds are so important in this game when you are using a weapon. Why would it not work? And then probably just one that's a little nitpicking, but I feel like a lot of people have said this to me, and I noticed it myself. There's no idle or running sword stance at all. If you're not swinging your sword, it automatically goes back on your back, on the back of your Descendant. Why is there no running sword stance? Why am I not holding the greatsword over my shoulder? Why am I not running with the katana like I'm in some anime show? Why? So let me give my actual thoughts about swords and sort of about the game in its current state and why I feel like it is failing outside of the diehard player base that does enjoy this game. And I am one of those people as well. Swords released in the first Descendant, something that should have come with pretty major hype, but as usual, the swords are locked behind a horrible grind that involves doing one piece of content on repeat for hours and hours. This content has little diversity to it. It offers close to no fun. You take the same path every run. The monsters have the same spawn locations. The map is the same. The boss is the same. The chest locations are the same. Chests for mats require keys, which you never have enough of. This is a looter shooter. Why am I walking past a chest? Because I can't open it for loot. The game is about loot and shooting, and we are doing neither of those things. Although I do think swords in time will end up being good, but to release them in this state is flat out lazy. They edited no Descendant mods for them. They came with one component set. The mods are limited to having one ultimate mod for each sword. They made sure no current Descendants have any synergy with the swords. Why release swords and have them be bad? They either should have waited or put more effort into it. The sword pass, this should have 1000% been a free extension to the battle pass we already purchased for season 3. This is called community goodwill and giving people a reason to come back to the game. We already get $200 in skins a month. Now offering a second battle pass for a half-assed implementation of swords looks horrible. People that have and will play this game are playing other games. You need to give them a reason to come back that doesn't involve them spending $20 on a game that they've worn out and done everything in because of lack of in-game content. Rant done for now. I will be doing another video as a mid-season 3 review video to talk about good and bad of this game and maybe what we can do to make it better. So that covers everything for the new swords on the first Descendant. Any questions or suggestions, let me know in the comments. Let me know how you feel about the swords. If you think I'm wrong, let me know, but keep the discussion civil between each other. Like and subscribe is appreciated. Thanks, guys. Peace.